A large combo meal.
A large combo meal, plus she got a thing of nachos.
So
And
40 quid all in.
More, it was nearly 50 because she went, because we were in the cinema, and the nachos were really nice. And we were,
Did you go back out? Oh my god.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit and drinking wine. Like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
Oh, saucy. How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast.
Wow.
Applause.
Is that even coming out? This is coming out of the soundboard?
Yeah, I think that's coming out of the soundboard. Starting the timer. We're back to old school ways. Yes, how's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. We're just going to get stuck straight. Just shit.
you dirty
Oh
bastard.
no.
Oh,
Be awkward sitting in this for 40 minutes.
this week was not a good week for Ross.
That's better not smell.
Last week was not a good week for Ross.
Woke up, brushed my teeth.
No toothpaste.
I was involved in a bit of an awkward encounter.
Another one.
Let me take you back to last Tuesday.
I think this might actually become a weekly segment. Awkward encounters of the week.
So I was in a bank. I'm not going to name the bank because don't want anybody to get in trouble. But
Sponsorship.
I fucking Lloyd's TSB coming after you, mate.
I was in a bank,
Once
right?
again.
And
The Royal Bank of Northern Ireland.
we're basically wanting to open up a joint account.
Oh,
And,
big steps. Oh my
Things are getting
god.
serious.
It's like you're engaged.
So basically, we were
Imagine.
sitting in like the waiting bit, waiting, obviously. And there was this guy over at, you know, the way in banks now you can go and like lodge money into what looks like an ATM. You
Yeah.
put your card in, then it counts all the money.
Yeah.
It separates it, does all the thing. So stand there, and there was a fella come in, and he was a foreign fella. He came up and he put this massive wad of cash. Massive wad of cash. I was like, flip me, who are you working for? Get me in on some of that.
You see, no, working for
Put his card in and rung the cash through, and then the next minute you could see him sort of standing there, and he got a wee bit sort of like irate. And I think what happened was he put too much cash in the machine. Well, he did put too much cash in the machine,
Yeah.
is what I'm going to say.
There's worse problems to have, like.
Exactly. But he called one of the women over who worked for the bank,
Yeah.
and she made such a scene in front of everybody. And the worst thing was she kept making eye contact with me as if I was going to chip in and be like, aye. So basically
Is that how you talk when you're at home?
he
like
flagged,
a real farmer's accent.
her over, and we were sitting.
Come here, you to me.
She came over and she goes, I know exactly what's happened because the same thing happened last week. And she started like, she
What happened?
put the key, yeah, must have.
Fucking
every week. Fucking 10 bag.
She put the key in the thing and opened up the machine and was like picking the money out where it clearly got stuck in around like the circulation.
You can only put
of the
like
thing.
a certain amount of bills in.
Yeah. But he didn't speak any English. And she was just like, I told you the same thing last week. If you want to lodge money like that, you need to come up to the till and speak to me directly, and I'll just put it directly on your card. I told you not to be filtering it through this machine. But I was like, he clearly doesn't speak English, so has no idea what you're saying whatsoever. But the weird thing was she kept looking at me then and looking over and going, I'm sure you know what they're like. And I was just standing there going like, looking away from her but then obviously because, you know, when someone's making a scene, you can't help but not like kind of
Watch.
what's going on over there? I'm interested in what's going on. But she kept going like, and I told you last week whenever I had to do the same thing, and she was like, next week when you come in, you go up to the till. And he was just standing there like, clearly had no idea what she was saying, but she made such a scene, and I felt really bad for the fella. And
Hey, why would you fucking feel bad for them? Cunt's got 2 bags.
I know, but I
fucking trying to shove it into the machine,
We should have went up and goes, I'll lodge it for you next week.
yeah, no, but,
Never say anything.
50% fee.
but yeah, I thought I'd give you an update on that. Just really awkward. Kept looking over at me as if she was gonna tag me in, and I
Maybe
was gonna be
shadowy.
like, aye.
Maybe should have a wee thing for you.
Maybe she just had a bad day.
Open a joint account with me.
Do you think he wasn't going up to the till in case they asked him where they got it? It's a bit suspect. showing
Or
up
they
with
realised it
that
was
much
potentially fake money.
Ashley.
Monopoly money. She opens up as his Monopoly money.
Have
No, I
you
don't
seen
think
the
it would work.
scam that they're doing in England now? Drug dealers for laundering money.
No.
Well,
They're like creating like fake accounts on Instagram and shit.
opening up a shoes hole.
creating like fake accounts on Instagram. It's like quick money, quick cash and all this shit.
What?
And they'll like whenever you're lodging money, the bank, is it IRS here or is that America? You know, the people who check your money and shit.
FDA, FDA.
Whatever the fuck they are anyway.
FDA, I don't know.
You can put like, I think it's 20k into your account without it flagging up.
Yeah.
So each person is allowed to put like 20k into their account a year or something.
Must go to the bank next week.
Fucking filtered in. But they, like, these drug dealers have so much money, like over in England or whatever. They're like coming up, meeting people on the street and being like, look, I'll give you 10k. You keep 20% of it. What the fuck? You keep 20% of it.
Right.
And we'll if you lodge it into your account and then send it to such an account, so that, like, this is the scam now because they've put the 20 quid or 20,000 into their account. It can't be traced by the FDA.
Right.
And they can send it to the drug dealer's account. So it's a way of laundering it now. So like, you just go on to Instagram and like look up it's not money laundering.
Right.
It's like a way around it, but because like the person who's lodged into their account isn't going over like the £20,000 threshold,
They'll
like,
never notice.
They never notice. And then because it's a transaction between two people, it doesn't flag up as anything. It's like just basically a gift between two people.
Like PayPal.
Yeah,
Or
so
pay a friend.
they're getting all these like young people to do it with like bank accounts, like 18-year-olds and shit. Like,
That's mental.
I mean, if
Fucking
you're
nuts,
$2,000
like.
into your overdraft and someone said to you, here, do you want to make 1,500 quid easy?
exactly.
Catch a wee flight over to England, I think.
Fucking right.
Tommy stands in the middle of the street with a big cardboard sign.
You think about it, like.
I will money launder for you. That's interesting though. Good start to the podcast. Get straight into Tommy's question time. Roll the intro.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
It's Tommy's question time.
Who should pay on a first date?
The man.
Oh, fella? No, whoever.
Because I've seen a few things and they're like, people being like, oh, whoever asked you on the date should pay.
I was about to say that.
And I'm like,
what if it's two men going on a date? Like,
that's
you can't say the man
pretty-
pays first.
Or
Like,
two women.
or two women. Like.
Let's get woke.
What happens there? Like?
Yeah, that's so true.
I agree with that, where it's like, if in those situations, it's like, yeah, the person who asked
Yeah.
should pay, but then it's sort of like, I don't know.
Chivalry.
Well,
I feel a bit bad. Like, I don't think I would go on a date and not pay, like, especially at the start of the relationship. Like.
but at the same time, you've been in a relationship for a long time now. So if you came home tonight and said to Brona, I'm on here, we'll go to the cinema, and then you get to the cinema and then you go, oh sure, you pay.
Well, no,
Like,
the way we
if
do
you're
it,
instigating it.
the way we do it with the cinema, like, is a good example. So, like, one of us will pay for the tickets,
Yeah.
one of us will get the food, like.
Yeah.
Do you know, vice versa. But like, it's when you go out for food, like, sometimes I'll pay, sometimes she'll pay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I pay every time we go out for dinner.
Yeah, no. But then you've been in a relationship for a long time.
Well, that's just
How
all
does-
get single and
How let's test it.
We went to cinema the other night and we fucking pigged out, like, in fairness. I think it was, what's the tickets now, like £8 each or something?
something like that. Yeah.
Aoife didn't know about getting student tickets, so she could pay full price adult. Like.
Right, you've
So
still got your student.
already like 16 quid or something before we got there. Like.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll get the snacks and shit. 24 quid. Large.
What did
large-
you get?
Hell did you buy? Is that
Accidentally
including the
pressed
tickets?
large combo meal instead of medium. Like.
Oh, I
So it was like, it was like 10 or 12 quid or something, and she got like a drink and nachos.
Lad, admit it right now in this podcast. You did not accidentally press medium large.
Don't make accidents.
You say the whole time we went up, it's like one of those things when you're going up, I'm only going to get a bit small, and then the
just gonna
large
get a
comes up
bottle
and
of
you're
water.
like, bang. It's like when you order a McDonald's, you're like, oh, I might get a medium meal, but then the large
Yeah,
is right
it's only
there.
40p extra for a large meal. Like.
It's only 40p extra for a large meal, but then when you
Oh,
go through it, it's like, do you want to round your thing up by 4p and donate it to starving kids or whatever? And you're like, oh, no, I have no money for that. Cancel.
But like,
Not happening.
let's imagine.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
single.
finishing 24 quid. This works well with it. We were about to say.
Sorry, is this 24
quid.
is this £24 with the tickets?
No, 24
Just for
quid on
food?
food.
A large combo meal.
A large
24
combo
quid.
meal plus she got a thing of nachos.
So
And
40 quid all in.
More, it was nearly 50 because she
Aye.
went because we were in there in the cinema and the nachos were really nice. And we're
Did you go back out? Oh my god. Man.
we're eating them. I was eating my popcorn. I was eating away at her nachos, and I was like, "Fuck, they're nice." And the movie hadn't even started yet. Like,
They're gone.
and it literally, the movie had just begun. Like, it was like the ad before, and I was like, "They're gone." I was like,
Were they gone?
they were gone. And then we were like,
You put this.
another one of them would be nice. Like, you know, like it'd be nice to have some when you're watching the movie. So she was like, "Well, I need to go to the toilet now." And I was like, "Well, whenever you're out there, do you want to pick up?"
You got her to get nachos or something?
No, tray of nachos. So sure, no tray of nachos as well. So with 2 trays of nachos.
Oh my days.
In fairness, when looking back in now, any fucking wonder it was near 50 quid. But the thing that I was thinking is, imagine you were going out on a first date and you did try and pay. Like, you think, oh, cinema, wee cheap date, something simple. So you're 40 quid, like,
Yeah, it's
getting to
not-
the cinema. Like,
Aye,
it's
so
not cheap.
If you
Depends
don't,
how much you like the person.
like if you would went
Exactly,
on your own, like,
yeah.
and you were like, I'm getting this. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine you forking out 45
But
quid or something just to see a movie. Like.
But then the thing I always think about is like, if you were single and you were going out, say you were like the girl, oh, I would go out for a drink,
Yeah.
and you're having drinks. Like, do you pay for the drinks all night? Do you know what I mean? Like, when is there sort of like,
I feel like it's a good way to kind of maybe suss a person out, because obviously, like, if someone, you know, if you took someone out in a date and you maybe bought 2 or 3 rounds, and then he or she was like, oh, I'll go up and
Yeah.
get the
I think
next
it'd be
round,
happy
you'd
enough.
like,
You'd be happy enough paying all night as long as they offered.
as long as I come home with you?
As long as they come, yeah.
No, it depends how many drinks. So, like, but then I suppose if you're having a good, if you're having a
it's
good
a first
time,
date. Like, you're not going to go like 20 drinks deep, like, are you?
Well,
Well,
who knows? But like you say, like,
pint off.
say you go down to like the
last
likes of
one standing.
the like, say you go to the pub, a pint's like £4 or £5.
Yeah.
Like, a couple of rounds in, you're 50 quid. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, when does that stop?
And you just have to eat. If
And then you're like, she's like, oh, I want a bit of food after.
you cheesy to get after, like,
Yeah, what?
I'm not walking.
I've
Maybe
got,
we
I've got
do,
cereal at home.
You'll take a pot noodle out of B&M.
I have no milk, but you know what? Water will do just a good job.
How many dates in would it be before you expect a girl to pay?
I see, I don't know, I'd just be that awkward where I probably wouldn't even say anything.
She still haven't said anything.
Still paying for everything.
Sunday's fucking bleeding you dry.
Cinda's like, let's get a house, but I'm not paying.
Get a house.
You can
Go on
pay.
to get a mortgage and you're
So,
like filling out the forms. How
so
much do you make?
I was
Hold on here.
I was actually talking to a girl that I know there the other day, and she went out on a date.
Right.
And this was the second date she's been on with this fella, right? And first date they went.
Brown.
I think they
Oh,
just,
wow, wow.
I think they ended up like just going and grabbing a pizza or something and going to the beach or something. Like, it seemed to go quite well, but then the next date they went out on, I think they were in a chippy or something along the lines out there, and they were getting pizza or something again. And she's obviously not seeing this guy anymore, because she was sort of standing and it was like 2 pizzas and it amounted to like 24 quid or like £26. And apparently, like, your girl goes, oh, that's £26, please. And he like kind of stood, and she said she definitely got the vibe where he was like expecting her to go forward, and then he eventually just, she wasn't paying attention. She said she wasn't paying attention or whatever, and basically like he went over and tapped the card, and like in front of the cashier was just like, oh, so like my pizza was like £16, so like if you just want to
No, he didn't.
if you just want to transfer me like £11 or something. But like, no, sorry, I think he said this before he paid, and he said to her, he was like, oh, like my pizza was like 16 quid, so if you want to just like throw me a tenner or something, like that'll be fine. And apparently like,
Second date, that.
she was like, I just reached forward and tapped my card on the thing and was like, it's fine.
No.
And she never,
way.
she said like after that, she was like, nah, not again, never again.
That is ridiculous.
Fuck me.
I have been in a relationship for 7 years, and I would never, even like not even as Craic, go up, buy a McDonald's and then just be like, here.
But even
yours just, mine was about £8. If you just want to square me up there with 7 quid.
even in if a waitress and all there, like right in front of the waiter and all, oh, that's disgusting.
Do you think it'll be okay to leave it till after and say?
I wouldn't say, like, they got, I think a second date, like,
No.
I think like maybe, fuck. But like you need to also think, like, say like you're starting to go out with a girl, like you're going out with her maybe once every week or every few weeks. Like realistically, it's not like you're taking her out every night of the week and you're spending hundreds of pounds on her. Like how much was that? £26 or something?
Yeah.
Like seriously,
I feel like
that's ridiculous.
I feel like I didn't explain that very well, but you get my point.
I know, but it happens. How many dates though before you're like, right?
She just said it to me in passing, and I was like, "He what?" And she was like, "Yeah, he like before he tapped, like I paid for it, but like before he tapped the card, he was like, oh, like he started like doing the maths." And I was like,
That's so cringe.
Can I see the bill, please?
"Yeah,
He's the sort of guy you take to a restaurant and be like, I actually think this is wrong. I think you charged me extra for that cream dip.
yeah,
They weren't a large chip.
yeah."
It was a small.
I counted 36 chips and all that should be at least 48.
Like I feel like a relationship's meant to be like you plan on doing stuff together, so I feel like that's just a natural thing that's factored into it. It's like we are going to do this, so we are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Not
Do you want to go on a date with me? I'll treat you if you pay 50%.
yeah.
You're still like, Jesus, that's bad. Like.
It's embarrassing.
Could you date again?
What?
Could you date again?
Definitely not. I don't think we like.
Wait, if you're him or her?
No, I'm asking
In
you.
general,
like,
like-
us three have obviously been in relationships for a long time. And if in the morning you woke up and everything was over, how confident would you be about going back in the dating scene?
Lad, it's changed game now. All these Tinders and all.
all these Tinders,
Like
swiping right. And
Ryan,
all this crap.
Army and Ryan recently single, like, and it's just fuck me. Like.
Seems like a lot of hassle. Like, I'm bad enough to see texting now. No,
I
like,
fucking hate tax.
couldn't
Like, could you
imagine
imagine like hopping a
no,
tax people girls
no,
like proper? Oh, I couldn't be arsed that. Like. Just can't be arsed. Like.
No, fuck that. Like.
I know a fella now, and he's messaging a girl, and she's going to Australia soon, and he's like I don't know, like it's kind of going somewhere, but like obviously she's going to.
The only thing that's
like,
going anywhere is her to fucking Australia.
I'm like, lad, I couldn't do it.
What is he talking about moving with her? Like?
No, like he met her, and obviously she's planning on going to Australia.
It's pretty awkward dating at this age because people are doing different things now. At least if you're in school and shit, you know, I'm in school with you for the next fucking 2 years or whatever, and you know where you're going, or you know you're going to uni or something like that.
We are at that age now where you know if it's going somewhere or not, because like I have a plan for my life, and that involves.
But could you imagine
that becomes a
you
factor
have a plan
in it now,
for your
like.
life, and that obviously involves Aoife, because you've been together. Like,
Yeah.
if you do anything, if you make a big life decision, you're going to ask for her opinion or do it with her. Same thing with you. Same thing with me.
Don't know. Like.
But like,
Do what the fuck I want.
do you know what I mean? Like, we're at that age now where people are like, you know, if you aren't on the same journey, then you may as well get off the track before it goes any further. You know what I mean?
Using fucking metaphors.
You know,
This is getting deep.
Seriously.
Give us another one there.
Go.
But yeah, no, I
Give us
couldn't.
another wee creamy metaphor.
I couldn't imagine being back in the day.
It's like the Mark Goldbridge of podcasts.
I couldn't imagine being back in the dating scene again.
You still haven't answered my question.
What?
How many dates before the women like you'd expect someone to pay? Like?
It's just not a clear-cut answer.
No, it's not. I can't give you a clear cut answer.
I'm sorry.
It depends on a lot of things.
Segment ended.
It depends on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like it's even like if you were booking like say your first like stay away, like,
Staycation.
Yeah, well, that's big
you
money.
wouldn't expect her to pay though, would you? Like?
Depends how long you're going. Where?
But
I think you let her pay when you felt comfortable with her paying, but there's no set time
that's
limit.
nice.
You
That's
know,
a nice one there. Like.
you know.
So happy.
I think.
So happy with that answer.
I think we're maybe getting the wrong end of the stick here. Perhaps it's not up for the person to decide.
Let's
It's
flip
up-
it.
It's up for the individual to
Let's
decide
flip
when
it.
they like. Why does it have to be like if I'm going on a date in the morning? Why is it my responsibility for me to tell you when I think she should pay? It's her responsibility.
There's no
be
need
like,
to
you know
get
what?
so angry. Like.
I know, but I feel like we're.
Let's flip it.
Oh
If you went on a first date and the girl was like, "I'm paying for this," would you be like, "Right, no bad"?
You go, girl.
no.
Would you?
No, that's-
See, that's a row then. You see, starting off on a bad foot.
She was like, "Oh, if she slinked up on the sly and paid for it, I'd be like, right, well, we're going out for dessert or something after."
You're getting your fucking chocolate pie.
I'll pay you back.
But you know what I mean? Like, I would feel like there's a debt there to be settled.
Ross is like, I left my wallet at home. Is there anything you can do to make it up to you?
But even, do you
some-
ever see them things on TV where it's like first date and the waiter comes over and he's like, "Oh, lad, like, I don't know.
Or his cured declines.
I don't know if that would be
Oh,
all."
did you see the one where your guy went in and he was ringing his man? He was like, "Can you send me like 50 quid here? I don't have enough to pay for the
That's
meal."
bad, like.
Why is he going on the show at all? Like,
Getting out of
surely
it,
you know
probably.
you're going on a fucking TV
You
show.
think them ones going on the show would be getting a free meal?
I know, right enough. But then I suppose it's part of it, like who pays and all
Trumpy
do that.
doing.
Oh my fuck's that tree?
That was a very good Tommy's question time that lasted like 20 minutes.
Off the
I think it's the
cuff,
first time I actually answered this question
Yeah.
I don't know.
or discussed it. Usually it's just like, yeah.
The boys are gonna be single next week.
That's it. So, what are you doing?
Jeez.
Oh my!
My shoe fell off.
I am terribly sorry for anybody listening to this. Shay is just.
My feet are so sweaty.
So the topic that I wanted to discuss with you this week is we talk a lot on this podcast about we're going through that stage in our lives where we're growing up. We're
Menopause.
We're in adulthood. We're near our quarter life crisis. Some of us are in our quarter life crisis.
What, that sounded like it was fucking aimed at someone.
I think it sounds so
Who's
depressing.
that aimed at?
So, do
you just gonna fucking not answer the question?
You Trump.
No. So
No comment.
That's him.
obviously
You
you.
looked at me when you said it.
There's gonna be scrap.
So obviously you live away from home. You
Yeah.
rent your own place and stuff. Me and you both are living at home still
Together.
I'm living
same
at
bed.
Shay's. Shay lives at mine part time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was a time where you felt like I'm on my own here? I'm not a kid anymore. And when was that time?
I think recently, you know.
Yeah.
So I think like I obviously left my last job recently and moved to another job, and I remember being younger and working part-time jobs, and like I was very much with the mentality of like, if I quit, I'm gonna get another part-time job, like. And this is like the first time I found myself being like, I fucking wasn't enjoying the job anymore, but I was like, I can't just quit because I've got bills to pay, and like you can't be relying on people for money and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was like proper like, fuck, like I like need to have a job lined up, blah. So that was probably realization of, it's like, you know, and like that's like, you know, when you're renting and stuff and you've bills to pay, you can't just get up and go, like. But like I had savings and stuff, so it didn't work out too bad, like.
Yeah. But see, it's funny because this is why I want to bring this up, because
Why is that funny?
no, it's not
See
funny.
him laughing.
It's
fucking laughing.
it's an interesting one, because I would have thought that your answer would have been when you moved out for uni.
No, because like you had your student loan and
Yeah.
you're still working
Yeah.
part time. Like I was still working part time then, and like you had so much money then. Like
Yeah.
you got your student loan in, and you're like, this is it. Like, your rent was paid. Do you know?
Fucking
Yeah.
no money whenever I was a student. I was so broke. Don't know
I,
where the fuck
like
you got yours
I
from.
got a decent student loan, and then I would have just like set aside for rent, like, and
Yeah.
like used whatever.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. Is there?
I don't think there's
One-
a right or wrong answer to this, by the way. It's okay to say if you still feel like you're
You seem like you're really coercing me into answering something.
one foot in the camp, 1 foot out.
So I genuinely don't feel like I'm an adult yet. Like.
Yeah.
I don't know whether there's going to be like a turning point where I feel like, oh, like a single day in my life, and I'm going to be like,
You're
okay,
you're not mummy's little boy
I'm
anymore.
I am adult now. Like,
Yeah, I'm adult, evolved.
I do adult thing.
It's like fucking,
Yeah.
what do you call it, Dragon Ball Z?
I think it's because I'm not really a serious person. I don't know. I think I look at like a lot of older people and be like, fuck you. You have your shit together, but I'm just like, what if I don't want to get my shit together?
I also think that you, from discussions that me and you have had in the past, that you are also you're a bit scared of the idea of the whole like routine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, you're 9 to 5. I know I do 9 to 5. But not like, but
The rat race.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just doesn't appeal to me really.
Yeah.
Because like realistically, like how many like older people do you talk to and they're like so happy about what they do and all, like, so it's
Yeah.
like, stay away from that as long as you can. Enjoy where I'm at now. Like.
Yeah.
Fair.
Just catch a vibe, bro.
catch a vibe.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, it's strange because I kind of go back and forward.
When you were 6?
Because I'm obviously still living at home.
What, we're also going to school with a briefcase and all? We calculator.
Because I'm
Suit?
still living at home, I don't feel like I've fully like... I don't feel like I'm fully embraced adulthood yet.
You're not independent. Like.
I know, I even know, but in saying that, I do live at home, but which will soon change, but at the same time, I am not dependent on anybody for things that are my own. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would buy my own lunch for work, even like stuff for like bringing in to make like a packed lunch or whatever. I'd fuel my own car. I like everything that I'd pay for my own phone and stuff out there, which is a lot more than what a lot of people our age actually do. Do you know what I mean? Like some people, mommy and dad, are still paying their phone bill.
Do you know what's such an adulting thing?
Yeah.
My phone bill is up. My contract's up in, I think it's November. So that's the phone paid off. And now I'm like, you know what? I might not bother getting a new phone. Whereas whenever you're younger, it was like, contract's up. Can't wait to get the new phone now.
Yeah.
The newest fucking iPhone or whatever. Now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to save a bit of money.
Yeah.
Drop the contract cost of, the phone.
Yeah.
Save myself a few pound every month.
Yeah.
More mature.
Yeah. It's a strange one because sometimes I feel like, no, I'm not. I was having this discussion with Dad the other day and I was saying this, it's exactly the same thing as what I just said to use. Anything that I have, I buy in. I pay for it, but then Dad was like, at the same time, you're going to notice a lot of difference whenever you move out and you're not paying for heating, electricity, a massive food shop. And I'm like, I'm not like one of these people where I'm like, oh, what an utter pile of crap. I understand that.
Yep.
And I think it's to do with a different upbringing as well. Like, obviously, like we've talked about this before, like growing up and stuff, we never like would have really like went on holiday or whatever, and like I wouldn't have really like went out or like I don't know, because I didn't have a strict upbringing. That's not what I'm trying to say, but at the same time, you would have been cautious about decisions that you're making because you're still living at home. Whereas now, I just do it, and I think I realized the other day, like we booked that holiday, and it's just like I'm not a kid anymore. Like I don't need to go and be like, oh, am I okay to book a holiday?
Permission.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it really sort of set in. And I was like, I'm not 12 anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a strange one. It's something that it's something that's been on my mind for the past while. Obviously, with getting the job as well, doing a bit of traveling for work, you feel like a proper adult. But then, you're also like, and when you're talking to people, they're asking what you're doing, and you're like, oh, I'm doing this, and they're like, wow, that's a cool job, and you're like, yeah. And are you out on your own? No, I'm still living at home with mom and dad, and they're like.
Actually, have you had that conversation with someone?
Like I've talked to people in town and stuff and sort of catching up and whatnot, and then they're like, I'd say, oh, we're looking for a house at the minute, and then they're like, oh, so you're still living at home? And I'm like,
oh,
yeah.
And you're only 22.
Yeah, 23.
3.
Yeah.
It would look bad if they met us or me.
Do you think that perception's changed now though, of like living with your parents?
Yeah, especially after lockdown. I think it just set everyone back 2 or 3 years. Like it has been such a fucking, like I'd say if lockdown never happened, I'd be moved out by now. Like it was such a setback for a lot of people. Because I think like we still had the house up in Belfast and stuff, and if it never happened, I sort of just would have been like, look, I'm going to start renting something else now, like just to stay up here. But the fact that I knew I had to go home and then just let the rent run out or whatever, like, I was like, fuck it, I'm home now, like, and then you get comfortable and you're like, can't be fucked going back
but
up.
Then
I was trying to save and shit, like.
You still, whenever I was friendly with Thomas at the end of uni or the end of May, you still had Eglantine, and you still paid for Eglantine, but you lived at home the majority of the time because you were working in the bookies.
Yeah.
And even though you were living at home, people could argue that that's not a very adult thing. But if you were living up in Eglantine, it's like, oh, you're out on your own, you're paying for your own stuff. Yeah. I would flip that around and say, in that sense, you made a more mature adult decision, if you get me, because like you're realizing it's going to cost me more in fuel to drive up here. You know what I mean? That's more of an adult decision, if you get me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Coming home.
Yeah, coming home. And I don't think...
But I think everyone was so afraid at that time, and you're sort of like, fuck, I'm not staying up here on my own. The world's about to end. Like, you want to be with someone. Like. You don't want to be sitting up in a flat on your own. Like, not happening.
But we even had Mickey Bartlett on the podcast like a wee while ago, and he was saying over lockdown he moved back because why would he? live on his own. It's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, fair enough.
But I even like talking to ones now, like aunties and uncles and stuff, and you're like saying, oh, we're saving for a house and all or whatever, and like they'll be like, oh, would you not just move home? Or like my ones will be like, would you not just move home for a while? And I'm sort of like, no.
I think you are at the stage where you've been up here so long, it would just be difficult coming back home. Like, it'd be
weird.
so hard. Like.
It'd be so weird, I think, and it's just like, I just don't think I could go back to that. Like.
But it's so funny because you live up here, and if you go home, you're visiting home.
Yeah.
I could be away. I could be out, you know, working every day and doing something. Like at the moment, we're obviously doing training for that half marathon stuff. And like, so Monday, like last week, Monday, I was out playing football that night. Tuesday, went out to cycle. Wednesday, went out to run. Thursday, was playing football. I was not home until Friday. I was home, but it was literally, I was leaving at 7:30 in the morning and coming back at like 12. So the first day, even though I'm still living at home, the first day I actually saw mum and dad was the Friday, and they were like, oh, it's good to see your face. We didn't know you were still living here. And you're like, you know what I mean?
See, things like that would do my head on. Like.
I never been there.
Every time you're going to leave the house, it's like, oh, where are you going?
Yeah. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's still living at home at the minute, and he was saying like, I think everybody's just in the same boat. He was like, I'm looking for a house because he's working from home. And then whenever he goes out in the evening, like if he's going on a date or something along the lines out there, his dad's like, oh, where are you off to tonight? I think when you're living with people, they just become so accustomed to that you're there.
Your business.
Making conversation as well.
And I even know over lockdown and stuff, obviously we were all at home over lockdown.
Yeah.
But I think that 2-year period where you weren't really leaving the house, people then became accustomed to just, that's the way it is. So then whenever lockdown kind of sort of ended and I was going out, you were obviously fitting everything that you'd missed. Like we were all doing other stuff with other mates that you hadn't seen in like a year, 18 months, to the point where then mum and dad were just a bit like, it's weird, like not having you around anymore, if that makes sense. It's a strange one.
I think there's an age where it is a bit like living with your parents. Like.
Depending on what context.
Yeah. I think if you're in your 30s, then
I think we're
weird.
But then at the same time, if you lose your job, if you lose your job and things are outside of your control, I think there's a separate conversation to be had here around basically freeloading.
You know I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but
it depends. Yeah, I suppose it does depend on your situation and shit too.
It's to their own, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home making fucking bank, well, maybe like if you're saving, fair enough. Like, but if you're sitting at home making bank and you're basically just milking your parents, like just for the free house.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people like live in their parents' house just to fucking trying to outlive them, like, because they know someday, oh, this is gonna be my house anyway. May as well just stay in it.
Yeah, I know that.
I think that's bad enough too. Like.
Do you think?
But maybe they want them there, like at the same time. Like you have to think from the parents' perspective as well. Like.
Do you think like being single as well is a factor? Like?
Like can be a pretty big step.
If you were single, would you move out on your own? Like? It's not cheap, like.
No, so I was gonna say it's alright saying if you've your girlfriend or whatever to half the bills with you, like. But if you're fucking renting a house up in Belfast, like trying to pay for a 1-bed flat for yourself, like that's gonna be a big chunk out of your wage, like.
Fucking talking 500, 600 quid, like.
You're not gonna be able to do anything if you're spending all your money on rent, like. So is there any point, like?
No. But you're sort of giving up your social life as well, you know.
But then
maybe
the counter argument is that you're giving up your money to go socialising too. I suppose it's just whatever suits you better, like, at the time.
Such a mature conversation.
No, it's such a mature conversation, but we're at that stage in life. You know what I mean? And it's just it. I would love to see you
suck my cock.
I would love to see you go back home. I think it would be funny as hell. Like imagine someone coming to him.
Go home.
Go home.
Imagine someone coming to him in the morning and being like, the apartment's, you know, we get out. And Tommy had to go back, and like Brona and him were living separately. Like imagine, I don't think you'd be well.
Why?
I just don't. I think you're so accustomed to now what you're used to. I think if you like went back to like doing what me and Shay are doing, I think you go mad.
I don't think it'd be that bad. I just think you'd probably take things for granted. Like.
Like, you got on with your ones.
Yeah, I
You
wouldn't.
got
I don't.
on
It's
very
like it's
well.
not even like all having to live with them. It's more just like things like the internet and stuff. Like we live out in the middle of nowhere, and the internet's shite. Like, and it's
Yeah.
like things
That's
like
one of the main things that pisses me off now. It's grandeur and it's slow, like, but you see once everyone's home and they're banging on
Yeah.
it, like, and fucking playing Xbox and all. There's
Yeah.
like 5 things going on at once.
I think it would be more like if you were like, and I'm,
like.
you got
Can
on
you
with your
imagine
ones.
going home and you can't watch Netflix? Though?
Yeah, you got on with your ones really well, and you have a good relationship with your ones. But at the same time, I could imagine you coming back from like a day of work and you're sitting down, and then everybody traipsing in, like, because you're used to now. You go back, sit in your sofa, and Brona comes in.
Brona makes your dinner,
She's like, here you go,
You know what I
pal.
mean?
massages your feet.
Like, it's just it.
Yeah.
I was going to go mad the other day, and because we came back from Galway, and obviously like we'd have a pretty heavy, weekend in Galway, and there was a lot of driving, a lot of traveling, a lot of socializing.
Drive.
My battery was pretty depleted, like, and I came back, and obviously I came back in the Monday evening. Or Tuesday evening, I'd work on the Wednesday. Came back, no one was there. And I was like, wank. I came in, I was like, threw the
Ripped off all the clothes, lay stark naked on the kitchen floor,
threw the bag down, and
whacked on PH. Let's go, baby. Volume up full. Do what I want.
Oh my god.
3 pumps dead. Mum comes home. What is this sticky stuff on the kitchen floor, Ross?
Oh my
Dirty
god.
boy.
so I came back, and the one thing, and maybe this is a good sign that I'm an adult as well, I was like a bit of peace to pack all my clothes away back in the wardrobe and all
Oh my
again,
God.
and get ready, make my lunch for the next day.
My clothes are still in the fucking suitcase.
So unpacked my suitcase, got my suits from the Galway races.
Mine actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My suit's still in the
And I
I say it's still in the back of my car.
Still to think
had to
about
clear,
everything.
I had to clear everything, like, and started getting ready the next day for work, make my lunch the next minute. Heard the keys in the door, and I was like, a bit of peace would be handy. I need to make my lunch for tomorrow for work.
How can you not make your lunch for all people in the house?
I just wanted a bit of peace to just do.
You're-
to
It's
get
not as
through-
if there's loads of kids
I
running
wonder-
about the house.
You're
It's your mum and
so
dad
I
too,
wanted a
like.
bit of peace to get through my to-do list.
Oh my god. I texted him last night and I was like, oh, you hopping on the PlayStation here? He's like, oh, I'm just back around. I need to have a shower, shave and make my lunch.
What do you enjoy?
What's he going to be like when he has kids?
I
Fuck me. He going out
Schedule.
a flipping elastic band snapped in my hat. It snapped in my brain last night. I was sitting. I went to football, played football for like an hour, came back, lay on the bed, and it must have been about 9:45. And my head, I was just lying. Next minute, just came into my head. I was like, I could do a 5K and blow 27 minutes. Next minute, straight out, fluorescent jacket on, running around country roads in the pitch black. Got back, and then he messages, "Are you hopping on?" And I was like, "Lad, it's 11 o'clock, and I haven't even
Past my bedtime.
packed my lunch for tomorrow."
I'm trying to get into my pajamas here.
But I'm trying to get a nice routine.
shots and all,
I'm
man.
trying to get a nice routine at night.
He's just
Because-
getting ready for kids, like
I
getting
can't
them to
get
bed
it.
early.
Oh no. I
But
can't
here,
get it. He was to
you're
bed at 8 o'clock.
You're joking around here, but at the same time, you were the one who a while ago deleted all the social media and stuff off your phone.
That's
You were
because
like,
I have like a fucking addiction problem.
Yeah.
to it, like. I just
So
stick to it.
addicted.
I don't even look at anything. I just scroll.
yeah, it's just
No,
endless
that's
scrolling,
another
man.
thing,
Like, I've changed my routine now, where before I go to bed, I've started putting my phone down, turning on like the alarms and stuff for the morning, and reading a book.
I was just about to say it's such a good thing to do. Read a book for half an hour before you go to sleep.
And the one thing I will
You
say,
get rid of the blue light for half an hour before you go to bed. You get such a better sleep. I haven't done it in like a year, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Just fall asleep
Still
reading a
scrolling
book.
now.
Yeah.
Still on. Like.
Scroll away.
but it's funny because the last year we were talking about it, and you were like, "I've deleted TikTok and Instagram off my phone. Like, only have WhatsApp and Snapchat for talking to people." I was like, you know what?
Porn.
Snapchat's the best of
I
bitches.
was just like, that's so. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I
What are you
mean?
trying to say?
Should we make this a challenge?
No.
Absolutely not.
Should we make this a challenge?
What?
No phones past 11 p.m.
Day.
No phones before 1.
That's when I just get started. Hey.
No, that's me. Like when I get turn the TV off.
I actually
in the bed.
don't really touch my phone till I get into bed.
Yeah.
Like I'll check it and shit. But until I get into bed, I won't use it. Like, I'll be sitting on my PC or computer or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh, I'll get into bed and look at the phone here for a while.
I thought
hours
the other
later.
day about deleting TikTok and Instagram off my phone for a few days to see how I get on, because I'm so in that zone where I'm like, I want to you know, I want to change what I'm doing. Like I want to change my habits.
Yeah.
But the one thing that drove me not to delete TikTok or anything off my phone, and this just goes to show how mad this generation is I was like, I don't want to miss out on anything.
I'm not. I've went off TikTok. I don't use it anymore. I've actually stopped using it. I could go on and scroll and watch 5 videos and quit.
What are you using now?
Just fucking Hacks Hamster.
Hacks Hamster.
No, I actually don't. I go on to Facebook now for some reason. What? Am I aging?
You're an adult. That's how you know you're adulting.
She's on
How do you know
messaging Aoife.
it's like,
It's Teresa's 53rd birthday.
I've got
just
into
comment on
YouTube
the
a lot more.
competitions.
I got into YouTube a lot more. I watch like 3 YouTube videos a day at least.
See, what do you think
Soul
about
Brain.
so
Every day.
we talk
Welcome to
about
the stand.
we talk about
Hello and welcome to the United Stand.
we talk about, you know, scrolling on social media before bed, but do you think watching a film is just as bad?
No.
I don't get a good sleep when I fell asleep the other night watching the Minions. I mean, it was only on 10 minutes and I was out. And like, I hate when you don't sleep as good because you wake up like coming to the end of the movie, there's some fucking loud bang or something, and you realise I haven't been sleeping properly because this has been on. So that's why I don't tend to watch stuff.
Sleep watching horror films.
Minions. Oh yeah.
But that's, what do you mean?
That's
How
what
do you
Minions.
sleep watching horror films?
Minions
What
isn't
do
horror
you
film.
mean?
No, but like you're saying, no, you wake up and you're like,
No, it's just more the racket when you're trying to sleep. Like I'd watch a horror movie before I go to sleep. That's fine. But I don't lie in bed anymore and really watch them because I have no fucking TV remote, so I have to get up and turn it off.
fair,
It's a pain in the ass.
Reels.
Pain in the ass.
fair enough.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da, I'm loving it.
Well, that was an interesting conversation. We'll wrap the podcast up with,
Wrap it up. Ross's rants. Get ranty.
we really need to get an intro
Go on, you
for
baby.
Ross's rants.
Ross's rants.
So my rant this week is people who go out of their way once they step into a vehicle of getting pissed off. So I feel like there's people.
What is happening?
I feel like there's people who, as soon as they get into a car, immediately feel the need to get annoyed at someone for the simplest things. So right.
Ross's rants is basically road rage, then.
Yeah. So, not road rage, because no. I feel like there is some
Angry
cases,
drivers.
I feel like some cases there is, you know, road rage is fine. If someone pulls out in front of you, you could have crashed, I could have crashed the car, bang, blare the horn. Meh. You're like, that's road rage, do you know what I mean?
That's
But
a
it's
nice horn,
it's
mate.
justified. But do you not feel like there are people who, once they get into a car, it's like, they're honest. Like today, me and you crossed the road. That BMW driver sped up. Me and him were crossing the road, and the BMW driver planted the foot
On purpose.
on purpose. You said to me, he sped up there.
He did.
So that's a person who seen me and you crossing the road a good distance away and went, I'm going to speed up. Why?
I mean, doing that in a driving lesson.
Why?
Some girl was crossing the road or something, and like I just like started speeding up. He goes, "Why'd you speed up there?" And I was like, "You shouldn't be crossing the road there, should they?"
Oh my. Fail.
Theater.
So
Fucking trauma. It could have been a way.
here's what happened the other morning, right? I was driving to work and I had just joined the dual carriageway from a side road.
Right.
So I pulled out into the non-overtaken lane, the slow lane. I was doing probably about 60. Started speeding up, but gradually, like I wasn't in a rush, so I wasn't burying it. Looked behind, there was no one there. Next minute, it was coming up to it was coming up not to the roundabout, but was about halfway up the dual carriageway before the roundabout to go onto the motorway, and was still in the slow lane. But there was a car in front of me, and it was clearly, I was doing about 70, and the car in front of me was probably doing about 65. So I knew, you know when you just know I'm going to pass this person. So I was primed and ready to pass. But as I looked in my rear view mirror to like check for oncoming traffic behind me, there was a van, right? And he must have been doing, if I was doing 70, he was doing 71 because he was snailing past me. And I was just like, the rate I'm going, I'm going to have to jam on the brakes just to avoid hitting the person in front of me. He zooms past, the person behind me might go into me. Like there's a scene here. So all I did was, I was in 6th gear. I dropped it into 5th. I accelerated and I went past, and I pulled away from him I left a good amount of gap and I passed the person in front. Next minute, he starts flashing lights and blaring the horn. And I'm like...
Did you pull out in front of him though?
No, I didn't.
Well, how big was the gap?
At least 2 car lengths.
Right.
Like, I was not in the wrong. I was not in the wrong. And I can assure you, like...
I think even if you were in the wrong, you wouldn't have been in the wrong.
So, yeah. But at the same time...
What did you pull up out and get out? No.
I stuck the hazard lights on and just went like that.
Out the window.
Just went like that.
I'd have been like, "Lord, me and you."
But like,
Side road, let's
he
go.
wouldn't have seen because obviously the like blacked out windows. But like, I was like,
Drug dealer.
right, whatever, and just went on. But I was like, why did you get annoyed? Like, you were passing me at snail's pace.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you?
I wouldn't get annoyed if people done things like that. Like, someone pulled out in front of me, like I probably wouldn't even beep the horn or anything. I'd just sort of be like, drivers.
Oh, sure. What do you like?
Sure.
But do you know one thing does annoy me? The way people drive on the motorway. Like, see, whenever you stay in the fast lane, whenever I'm up your ass trying to get fucking past, this is every time I come up here, like I'm not saying I fly down the motorway, but I drive fast enough, like, and people pull out in front of you, proceed to drive almost as slow as the fucking car they're overtaking,
Yeah.
and then slowly keep driving, and you're like, okay, maybe he's going to pull in front now, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Give him the benefit.
Proceeds
of
to
the
go over, but like, yeah, I might speed, but I'll not undertake someone.
Yeah.
Because that's illegal. I know speeding is too, but like, you know, people speed. You don't undertake someone. Like,
There's just rules.
no, I've just refused to do that for some reason. I'll fly down the motorway at 90, but I won't undertake someone. Like.
I love how that's a secret sort of thing. I don't think I've ever undertook someone.
Yeah, I don't think.
I definitely have.
Maybe
Unless someone's jammed on the brakes to pull in from a dual carriageway and I've went, oh, he's clearly stopping, and I've went out round them.
I'll undertake in a 3-lane.
Yeah.
It's
But
okay.
if you're in
Lightning McQueen.
if you're in a dual carriageway and you're like driving and someone's in the fast lane and you're in the slow lane and you're faster than them, like, and you drive past them, is that undertake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
They shouldn't be in the fast lane. That's their fault though.
Yeah, but
As long as you're driving at a consistent pace in the slow lane and you're not like zooming up to fucking fly past them, like, you know, and undertake them,
yeah.
it's not, I don't think it's illegal. Like. I know it's like hit or miss laws and shit, like, but I wouldn't like go around someone if they're in the, I'd sooner like just sit behind them, sit up their ass and wait till the pull in. Like.
Yeah. Would you flash the lights?
No. Just sit in their ass. Like.
Would you not?
No. I call me ass that way. Because they don't see you that
Couldn't be
close
arsed.
behind you, like
Go
they're
on,
not going to
like-
see you flashing your lights. Like.
The effort of just
People are just terrible drivers. Like.
See, I don't.
Like, I don't mind, like, you know, you can make mistakes, you can pull out in front of people, you know, that happens.
yeah.
But just being just a fucking idiot, like, and not following the rules of the road. Like.
Bold
That's a no.
body.
See, I Doctor Strange that moment and see about 10,000 different outcomes if I flash the lights. I'm like, I could definitely cause an accident
It's
here
like
and then I'll
fucking
never.
Final Destination.
You know what I mean?
They pull you over, there's 10 guys in the car, they get out to kick the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Yeah.
flash
It's
lights
like a
like that.
clown car, like 50 ways get out.
Yeah. Like the other day, me and a fellow were out a cycle and we came to like a road end. It was like a T junction, so we stopped and we were joining a main road. And there was 2 cars behind us, and we pulled to the side. And there was a woman in a white Fiesta, and she was sitting, but I sort of thought she was on her phone. And then she looked up and she looked at me, and she had her window halfway down, but I just went like, do you want to go ahead of us? So I went like that. Now she's joining us. Where'd you go? Like she's joining the main road.
Come here, you
Bear in
dirty
mind,
rascals.
she's pulling out on the main road. So I looked
See
at
what I
her.
can do, please.
There was a car like between her and like the stop bit. The van had went. She's looked at me and I went, do you want to go on ahead? Next minute, buried it out onto the main road in front of a boy. She must have thought I went, oh, you're clear, go on ahead.
Fuck
But
me.
imagine I was standing there and she went, bang. And me just standing there going, I just killed a woman. You know what I mean? But like, I just went, oh, go on ahead. Like, go out in front of us. Because I thought, if we pull out, you're going to be stuck behind us.
Yeah.
And you'll be road raging. You know what I mean? Whereas, so I just went, oh, go on ahead. The next minute, she must have just looked up from her phone and went, oh, me drive now. And just bang, straight out onto the main road. I was like, holy moly. Like. I didn't mean
Holy.
quite literally.
Holy.
You wouldn't remind me of a road ragey person.
I hate people pulling out in front of me though.
Would you blow the horn?
Some have, yeah.
No
Nobody's
sweat, do you?
quacking up to pull out in front of me.
No, what?
Call me Han.
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
But yeah, so that's my Ross's rants for the week. Good discussion there. We'll wrap that up there. Thank you very, very much for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe if you're watching. Follow us on Spotify and give us a like or whatever you do on Apple Podcasts.
And remember,
Leave a review.
if you don't drift to win, what do you drift for? Bye.
Wow, deep.
Bye.